Hey Gemini, this is an impromptu reading for the 20th of May. So, for the focus situation, we have the Five of Wands. For the present situation, not the present, but we could also be talking about the present. What is helping or hindering you is the King of Swords. So, for you right now, whatever you are doing, if you are embodying the energy of the King of Swords, this is helping you right now. And what would be the outcome or the advice is the Ten of Wands. So first, I just want to read to you what came to me, what I actually wrote about those three cards that came out. So the 20th of May will be a day where you need to realize that everything you do creates friction, conflict, but more importantly, you are a force to reckon with. Accepting things as they are is not always the best route for you. You will need to shake things up, more so in how you approach and manage your daily activities. And I feel like the reason why this was actually emphasized on is the Five of Wands, because I feel like the Five of Wands have that energy of, building a home or a castle on the sand. But even though that would be a negative aspect of things, it would also be needing to take a break and just letting your imagination run free. Okay? Also, you might be thinking that your building process has no shape or form. So we're kind of going back to that castle, building that castle with, it doesn't have to do with sand, right? It could be with Play-Doh. It could be with anything, with Lego, right? So anything that you can somehow let your mind run free and just be in the moment, right? And just letting your mind take care of the structure. But I feel like it's not even consciously. I feel like it's more spiritually and subconsciously. Like you're trying to figure out what your soul is trying to tell you in what you do on a daily basis, because the words that came up initially was practice, ritualistics, and habit. And for me, ritual is more something that you do every day. But I feel like with the King of Swords, there's a certain intentions that needs to be applied in what you do. And also I feel like you're trying to follow a plan. I'm gonna get to what I wrote about that too, but there's a sense of needing to follow a plan, but needing to kind of dig deeper to understand what is the bullet points or blueprint of the plan. But I feel like it's also finding the blueprint of who you are will align you with the plan that's going to lead you to the Ten of Wands. And in this sense, this Ten of Wands is not negative, right? I feel like here it's like you're in the yes, I can situation. I will take the risk, right? Because I feel like if this is the present, that could also talk about the past, right? Where you were gung-ho, right? About what you wanted to do, and you actually went with everything that you are. And you created things, but also chaos occurred because maybe you weren't completely sure about what you were doing. So now there's a sense of you being a little bit more logical, bringing more balance. It's like, I cannot do everything all at once. I have to be able to do things in a much more strategic way, in a much more balanced way, because if I don't, it's going to be a little bit overwhelming. But in this sense, I see this Ten of Wands in a very positive sense, because I see it more as the harvest, right? It's like somebody's becoming hardcore. Like because I do talk about like, that's more of the fruits of your labor. The fruits of your labor is able to be seen by you and everybody else. Because also the 10th is also representative of, to me, the astrology of the 10th house, which has to do with your reputation. So whatever you do, everybody else is going to see it, right? If at one point you felt like people thought you were crazy for taking certain actions, for making choices, right? And maybe you felt like you could, right? Other people may said, well, yes, you can, but, right? And other people thought like it would fare miserably if you did dig deeper. I feel like that's that energy. The King of Swords in this position is aligning with the Pluto in Aquarius, where there's the sense of being able to know what you're made of, really. So it's like I took a chance at some point. I may have failed, but I really know what I'm made of. So even like past failures or past disappointment or conflict cannot really get in the way because you know what you really are made of. Okay, so let me continue finishing what I actually wrote. Yeah, so I'm just gonna start over. I did say also you might be thinking that your building process has no shape or form. So that means that, you might have started something kind of confused. You got, I don't know if you arrived to the turning point of your plan, or maybe you don't feel like everything's fitting together. So here, the steps that you are taking may not seem overly logical, and you have no idea what the end result is going to be. The journey is as important as the goal, but even more so, since it allows you to be much more flexible than before. Okay, so I feel like the flexibility is between leading with your imagination and following a structured plan, right? And the King of Swords is there to mediate between that imaginative state, or that state where you're just allowing for the information to come through, for the ideas to come through, for the steps to come through, and for you to be able to put it into action and see the whole plan. Seeing the whole plan, I feel like the Ten of Wands is seeing your goals being realized, because fire is something that you can see. You can also feel it, but at this 10, which is arriving at the completion, and again, it's the 10th house of astrology that's speaking here. I feel like this is, people are going to be witnessing what you are made of. The journey is as important as the goal, but even more so, since it allows you to be much more flexible than before. I think I read that already. You might be breaking your back to bring two more things together that should be staying completely separate. I feel like this is someone that's letting passion get into their life, and it kind of leads me, maybe I'm talking about myself too, but Gemini, it leads you to different areas or arenas, even meeting different kind of people, even being part of different associations, which like altogether doesn't seem to make sense as to why you attracted to all those different things, right? But it's not really about putting everything together, right? It's more about seeing that you are more than you think. Like, you're not only one thing, or you don't only have one talent. You might be breaking your back to bring two or more things together that should be staying completely separate. It's not because something is wrong, but your harvest will lead you to different kind of fruits. Of course, not from the same type of trees. So don't feel like you're in the wrong if you're trying to create something that's completely different by bringing different plans or different projects together. Those projects are meant to be separate, okay? They might actually, like indirectly, those projects might be able to like benefit the other ones, but it's always going to be somewhat indirectly. I feel like, because with the fire energy, I feel like it's more about the fact that you are putting out there what's inside of you, or those ideas that has presented themselves, like it's like tools that has presented themselves to you, and you are able to like use them and see where they can actually benefit you, right? So it's like you're having a whole lot more fun than other people think, or that you should. You're like, this is really interesting. It's like, oh, but this is also very interesting. It's like there's a sense of not having to limit yourself and not putting yourself in a box. Talk to you later, Gemini. Enjoy your weekend.